Oh man, what the hell is this? You might recognize my hat. From my EU4 Ruined Campaign series, I've saved 89 campaigns in the lifetime of EU4, and today I'm aiming to save the first EU5 campaign, the first ever Ruined EU5 campaign. This was given to me by one of the viewers. If you have any Ruined campaigns, join my Discord, which is linked in the video description, and DM me on Discord to share more details about what's wrong with your campaign. Today we'll be playing as Hussite Bohemia. That has a bit of collision problems, but also a lot of rookie mistakes. Obviously this was a play with like 10 or 20 hours of experience, so I think this would be the perfect example to show you what are the common mistakes that the people are doing when they're getting started and how easily they can be fixed. So let's start with reviewing the country. The war itself, it seems like a huge problem. What is even this? Is the Papal Bohemian Wars. It's Pope that declared on us, probably to clear the Hussite religion. But this one is already ongoing for a few years. You can actually check when the war started if you go to diplomacy and you hover on the war. You see the war started less than 2 years ago. It's not that much, and the player was doing alright. You see he got 5% war score from 150 battles, and he killed 12,000 more troops than his enemies. Well, obviously there's no chance with that quantity difference to win that war, even if you play it like God. Just look how many of them are here. But when this happens, you always have to go and start with going to offer tribute, just like in EU4, and suggest offer by the AIs. And see, very often, especially when the AI is so far away, they will, ask for reparations, maybe to enforce religion. You don't want to do that when you Hussite, so we have thankful Mr. Pope, or they will just simply go and ask for money. Of course, 2,000 ducats is not little, and the funny thing is that they're gonna accept just a bit less, and that's what I'm gonna accept. We just need to be out of war immediately. Next step is to go to automations and turn off everything. Guys, at this point of my experience, I'm no longer using any automations, especially the trade automations. In Praha, you can just make so much money. But yeah, let's take a look. You see a Hussite, but there's not that much of this people in our country yet. It is 500,000, 2137, it's not that bad. It's first time that I'm seeing Hussite myself playing it, so it's also some experience for ourselves. You see, it gives some bonuses like promotion and conversion speed, very nice, and it is having religious aspects, so something that you've seen in EU4 already. There's God as well. The first aspect that the player chose is current power and monthly control, as well as centralization value. It is not a bad choice, honestly, but we'll have to see the others once we get more of the religious power. And the religious influence, we are getting 0.4 a month! But I assume this is gonna be removed over a month tick, because we know, I assume that's because we are at war, we'll see. But yeah, I love it. Another thing to check is, there are not that many cores. Like, all of these lands, this should be cores. And we'll review that in a second. Money-wise, player was doing pretty alright, having in mind it's 1417, and we've got 600 of tax base. It's okay, pretty decent income from the taxing, but see how much more we could get if the loyalty equilibrium of this were higher. So let's start doing adjustments. So I'll stop taxing pastors. It's just 10 ducats a month, and if I get the satisfaction higher, we'll start getting more research progress, which is not that high yet, because also literacy is low. Look, that literacy is not good. We'll have to work on that. Same as we'll have to work on the locations ranks. There's not that many towns, especially around our capital. We'll be fixing that slowly. As for the values, I definitely want to fix going towards centralization instead, to spread the control and crown power better. Innovative ideally as well, with traditionalism. It's okay, but I prefer innovative for sure. It's great that the player is towards spiritualist, not sure if it's intended, but that will help converting everything to Hussite. And belligerent as well is great to get less antagonists, you know, from taking lands and lower war score cost. Land is also one of the most important societal values. You will go as Bohemia because you don't have access to sea, so you'll be spreading your control via land. And you see this proximity cost for land is very important. And so is the maximum RGO size for, you know, all of the silver mines that we are having. Just take a look. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 silver mines in the countries. We'll be definitely increasing production over there. We'll be losing unions with Württemberg and Luxembourg on the death of our queen, 60. Anyway, I told you that there's so much more taxation we could do. There's potential. But this will not be done without hurting the equilibrium and getting rebels. But you can fix that actually by getting more privileges to your estates. You see, the player did not give many, which is not bad because you have a nice crown power thanks to it. But some estates' privileges are useful to just have a good taxation. So let me go for the cultural influence here. Stability investment cost. From the pastors, definitely we can go for expansion in zealotry since we are Hussite. And really not that much here in the pastors because we don't tax them anyway, but the equilibrium will be higher. Burghers will be the most important to get more privileges. Let's go towards capital economy. My friend, silver output, come on. Production efficiency and progress towards capital economy for sure. Monthly development and innovative. And I think I can keep getting more. So you see less taxation for burghers, but in general higher tax efficiency. And Magdeburg rights is German one, trade capacity. Let's go for this. From commoners, I don't think there's gonna be anything interesting here. Yeah, let's just keep it as it is. But now the income should be visibly higher thanks to that equilibrium change. 256, 272 already, and of course the mounting as well, 606. This is already 637 and 283 here. Of course, we took the loan. Now, I can also fix the lacking cores. If you go to society and culture, you see I have culture capacity. And these two cultures, Silesian and Moravian, they have very good view of us. And this is actually impacting a lot the cost to tolerate and accept the culture. So it costs me nothing to get this two done. Oh yeah, I definitely have to fix legitimacy. About that, I didn't look at our spending. So here, cost of the core, let's go to the maximum. Turn this off. Disband the levies. Reduce the fort maintenance. That fort might be needed. For these guys, as long as we're not having problems, it's fine. And full stability investment. You see, because our legitimacy is below 30, you've got the coup attempt chance, but we'll be fixing that. And you see also our base tax is up to 683. A common enemy is a Hussite event. We could get reduced for exhaustion. We don't have any, but money. A lot of Hussite conversions. Yes, let's do a lot of Hussite conversions. Oh, I just tolerated these cultures. Let's just make sure to accept them as well. Of course, this is color for tolerated capture. This is accepted. Let's do it again. Now, all of this became core. Tax base is already 720. And you see the income will be also increasing with the amount that we can tax much more than before. What I'll have to also work on is getting more marketplaces, because there's definitely more of gold and silver that we can export. So let's focus investments on that. Let's also take a look at our advisors, the cabinet members. You see, crown power decreased because I gave so many more privileges, but I can increase it back with simple tricks. So first of all, for the army, I can assign someone that is from the crown. And you see, when I do that, it's not much of a choice. When I do that, the crown is gonna receive. Is that my only army? Okay, I have to make sure that they're in the same army. And the Crown Prince is the leading guy. Because you'll see now, I'm getting 25% bonus to the Crown Power. So from 25, it's increased to 29 already. And same with the cabinet members. I should make sure that all three of these guys should be handling from the crown level. But I don't have any members of the crown to do that. Well, we'll have to fix it by 6. We'll go to the society again. People, characters. We have to filter now for the characters that are male, and they are from the crown. Oh my god, there's not much of them, and they are not married. That's not good. That's not good. We don't really have the crown characters in our country. So what we have to do is, once we get more and more, like for example, like children and more of the family members, we'll have to make them marry people from the nobility, and this way get more and more children, so be able to use them in the cabinet. For now, yeah, it's not possible. Since the trade was automatic, we'll have to also make some clearance here. These are pretty profitable, everything that is here, so I'm gonna keep it. And with the new trading capacity, we'll definitely start exporting even more of the gold and silver, because when you go to the market screen, you'll see that in the goods we've got 11 balance of gold and even higher balance of silver, 40, and we can export both of this to simply earn more of the money. So you see it's already at 59, and I'll be steadily increasing that to also get that. It was like 260 at the start, 330 already, and we need more trade capacity to use that. We have so much silver in the country. Then, because I got the cores, my control will be increasing. See, this from 23 is going towards 40, this from 34 is going towards 40 as well. That is great. I think for lands here, is there any silver mine? No. For the lands here, I will not have high control anytime soon. I should be releasing subjects. That would be a pretty big one. Let's take a look what we could release. If we go to the diplomacy and we go to create subjects, let's look again, because this is the whole province they're gonna receive. They're gonna receive all of this, unless these guys are our subject. Are you? I don't think they are. No. But I definitely want a subject here. So let's go to diplomacy, custom subjects. Let's create a fiefdom here. Great. How about here? Is Mesen good province? Not really. And let's take a look. Province. Yeah, this is also not bad. Let's look at the raw materials. Nothing important. Let's also release another subject here. See, on the lands that are like unlikely for me to spread good control, I'm just doing so. How about this? These are gonna increase, but not much. Again, raw materials, nothing strong. So let me release 2 more subjects in these 2 provinces. You know, these subjects will just spread the control much more efficiently than me, and the goods that I have in here, they're gonna get to the market anyway. And since I have... Oh, they're actually in the Krakow market. But since I have the trade advantage in our nodes, my trades will be prioritized from these subjects. Yeah, for now let's stop here. I'll let the control in general increase with the cores getting created. You see proximity is also awesome here, especially thanks to the fact that we stacked the land associated value. For religious aspects, yeah, we are going still 0.40 a month, so that's great. We'll be getting more aspects soon. I don't need to increase control, that's not really useful. Instead, we should make sure to get this few locations as cores. I just don't think our cultural influence is not bad as Czech. Now let's compare it to what they have in here as their culture. So let's go assimilate, Czech, and here. Let's take a look how fast. That's actually not bad. See, lack of control is not helping. And of course, the fact that we went towards spiritualists. But still, we'll be getting that done slowly. I'm not sure that's actually just worth it. It might be more important just right now to simply convert the religions. So we get most of the people all of here Hussite. So let's just do that. Of course, culture is very important to get cores. You know, over 50% 50% of the location's population has to be your accepted culture to get the core. But what religion impacts, and I'm sure it's pretty low across the country, is the satisfaction. Because if, look, for example, these guys, the German peasants, Catholics' view of Hasidism is increasing it quite a lot. On the other hand, here, if I go to the Hassite people, I have to just find some Hassites. See, because I have tolerance to the true faith, it's additional 13 of satisfaction. So it's like what, over 30 of the total difference. Let's look at the antagonist map mode. Yeah, nobody will be really rejoining the coalition. It's good to improve with Austria, but it's improved to the maximum. Let's cancel all of the improvements that are not for the subjects. You don't see much there, but yeah, I'm just gonna improve with the subjects now, especially with the few that I just created. Of course, the subjects will be also some diplomatic income that we'll be getting, but it's not a huge number. Trade income, it's already up to 75, and I'll keep building more marketplaces to just leverage how much gold we are producing and silver. Of course, I think first I'm just gonna repay the debt that I took because of that last war. I think I need another privilege for the Comoros. Look at how much more I could tax them, but the satisfaction doesn't allow. Let's do that. Just one more tiny privilege for them. Oh yeah, the Livy combat efficiencies. Anyway, is a very useful privilege. Of course, that made these guys not so happy. But it's fine. So instead of 129, I'm taxing on 150. So my total income is already up to 350. I didn't even play a year. It's gonna cost stability, but I'm gonna change the cabinet members to actually... Oh, Jan Zlewikk, why are you not being used anywhere? It's gonna make that conversion a bit more efficiency with this guy. Oh, we do actually have mercs. Yeah, I'll let that contract expire. Since we have a bit of free diplomatic capacity, we should be looking for friends. People that would accept our alliance. But I see that there is not really any. Because of our religion. Even Poland. I guess it's fine. We're gonna build a strong country. You see the control is spreading. And so is our economy. It's already at 374. There's definitely some expansion of RGOs to be done. Whenever gold or silver mine can be brought, we have to improve it. Oh yeah. I was taking Jan Zlewikk, guys, already died. He didn't live for too long. It was too tough to manage the cabinet of Bohemia. Now that I'm done with increasing the trade, let me go to location ranks, and we have to start building cities around Praha. We should be also looking at rivers, but towards which direction they are flowing. Let's take a look. If you look at the proximity cost in here, Praha to Mada Bolesław. Yeah, there's downstream. Porybia to Chrudybin. There's downstream. So this is the way the river is going. Here I should be building the towns to spread the control this way. Of course, also looking at the type of the RGOs the buildings have. Wool, I mean, is it actually making much money? Wool might be making some money. Is it that important? Let's take a look. Yeah, we have so much wool, it can be changed into a town. Same fish. This is already a town, but we could improve it to a city later on. And here, let's just take a look again. Okay, these three locations should be also towns. Yeah, medicaments is not important. Yes, let's improve these two towns next. And see, the cost of the glass, masonry, lumber is so low, and the town cost is decreased by 33%, but then it is increased by our inflation 7%. But that's the cost of having so much silver and gold, especially in early game. Besides building towns following the river, I should just build towns around the capital as well, not in the gold province for sure. And in iron province as well. But like livestock or like legumes, these are fine, or even beeswax. to just spread the control more efficiently. And some buildings that this have to be followed with is, first of all, temples. We have to make sure that every town has a temple. That player did. And also bridges, which also player did. I'm really happy to see that the player organized both of these actions. We just unlocked recruitment law, and none of this really matter. I mean, peasants' levy size is actually pretty strong, as it's just increasing quantity, what is important early on. And we have some new advances to unlock, so he has plenty here. Let's see if he missed anything in the first age. Construction speed, please. Also cheaper to take from the first age. And that's it. For the second age, how is it doing? 45 out of 106, that's not bad, having in mind we are ending this age. Let's take a look. Theater is useful, art school is useful, rise of the nobility, culture's capacity to accept more of the cultures. He didn't even go for the banking at all, and from the military one, let's see. Yeah, definitely go for that urbanization decrease for the pop promotion speed. That's one of the most useful modifiers. Man-at-arms as well. Army initiative, please. That's very useful. Naval bonuses, maybe we don't need it as Bohemia, I don't think so. Yeah, and then we can just focus on banking advances. But before I do that, I'll just let this queue go. Maybe I'll even finish the saving the campaign before that, and I'll let the player decide. Of course, creating a town out of rural location is gonna decrease the size of the RGO, but that's another good that they have plenty in the market, and I don't need that much. Yeah, the control spread is gonna be useful. And I've lost that modifier for reduced influence, but it's still increasing slowly actually, but I'm gonna get the second bonus soon. A hunting accident just killed our heir. That's unfortunate. If an event for reduced influence, I can take the second aspect. Let's see what do we have here. We can also, guys, take a look. Pop conversion speed definitely would be useful. Improve relations. Improve relation modifier is actually so much stronger than in EU4, and in EU4 it was already very strong. It's not only, you know, impacts how fast like negative modifiers relations are decaying, but also it impacts maximum to which you can improve relation with a specific nation. So you see the subjects is 220 and other nations 110. You can increase it so much more if you have the improve relations modifier, but that's also conciliatory, which I don't want. For the other stuff, literacy, definitely useful. 10% literacy. Income from minting, I'm not even minting. Yes, enlisted satisfaction equilibrium. Let's go for the translated Bibles. We gotta improve this. And about that, we should be also, you know, besides temples, we should be also investing into libraries to boost in general our literacy in the country. Well, the impact is local monthly literacy and max literacy, but also long-term cultural influence to culture convert. How is it called in Czechia? Zemský snen. Of course, I'm gonna call it in Praha to boost our centralization. And there's not. And just nice to fix their equilibrium. And we might actually take a look at some of our laws, if there's anything we could change. Like the centralization, we could change it to centralization together with efficiency of the cabinet. And every 5 years I will be changing some laws. I don't think I will be able to bring it to 50 though. Rather not possible. But I just got an event for the 25. We could go towards vigilant. You should also use this often to change your societal values if it's something that you're looking for. We want spiritualists to faster culture and convert. And we want a capital economy. Of course, it impacts satisfaction of the other states. It's okay. Honestly, I could tax both burghers and nobility so much more. if I requested additional taxes. That's gonna be more worth than actually completing that agenda. Of course, some lost stability. It's fine, just look now. 402, 500 of income. I was mentioning that in some of my videos, but it's always worth mentioning again. You see, actually these guys here, I think these are the commoners. All of these buildings are actually positive buildings outside of local assembly. And how it works is, if a state has a loyalty between 0 and 50, they're surely gonna build something that is worth for them, usually increasing influence and food consumption that they have. If it's between 50 and 80, there is some balance. You know, the more towards 80, the more likely they're gonna build something positive for the country, like, you know, Carpenters Guild or Sandpit. If it's above 80, it's sure that all they're gonna build with the money that they get from the base tax is gonna be positive for the country. See, the player also got some armories. We also get a few more of them, and we can. Why did AI build that many auxiliaries? It's really not needed, my friends. Let's create a new unit with all the auxiliaries, and we only keep the one. The rest is not needed. Artillery is definitely useful, but for now I'm just gonna. How far away we are from the men-at-arms? You are far away. Let's just build some infantry, footmen. Yeah, we should actually do it here, so they also start with some experience. Theater is a building that can be done in cities and towns that gives cultural tradition, which is not as important as influence, so for now I'll not be getting it, but it's good to have it just in case. Now that we also got so many new towns, which helps with control, I also want to start following this up with some actual, you know, goods produced in the towns. Let's actually take a step back. So, you know, when you have armories, they are needed to produce manpower to have troops, right? And armories actually have a very interesting production method. You need firearms, leather, cloth, paper, and weaponry. What it means is that if you build out of armories, you create a demand for all of these goods. So then you can follow up with getting all of these buildings in your cities. Because of the high demand, they will be also profitable, which is gonna generate a lot of base tax. So let's actually do it. I'm already building more armories. I'm already also start following this up with buildings for these few goods that we are sometimes lacking. So a few gunsmith. Let's also follow it up with a few leather buildings. And then I'll be also following it up with weaponry, cloth, and paper. Something that I forgot to mention is that population satisfaction impacts max control on the location. That's why you want to spread the satisfaction, so it's working slowly. Now that I got my legitimacy to the maximum, you see I'm spending half of what I was spending on the court, while also getting, you know, all of the bonuses, including crown power and Pope Leaf Labor's threshold. And my balance is now at 200. Art school that I was mentioning earlier is including skill of the artists, but also gives you cultural tradition and local cultural influence. And I will build it in Prague, even if there's not enough people to be employed. And you see the Pope declared a new war. Austria refused to join it. I assume they're gonna call in more people. But I'm also well prepared now with the possible levies. Let's actually see if they invite new people, because if it's just this free, then I'm not gonna raise any levies. And just let's... Yeah, they're gonna call more people. Let's start paying for the forts. Let's raise all of the levies. And let's make sure that our subjects are set to supportive, and these guys have allow attach. You can actually, of course, just day one check what they want. Sure, I'm gonna pay you 1,000 ducats to fuck off.
So I'm gonna pay you $100 to fuck off.
Now Württemberg, so partner in union, just declared war on Biberach, which got Austria into the war. really don't want to fight this, Mr. Württemberg, especially that we're gonna lose that union. Yeah, I guess I can just walk around with the standing army, I guess. Austria doesn't really have any forts. The only fort is in Graz, so you see, I'm steadily sieging them down. Rights of the nobility gives me a few of the choices here to increase their satisfaction equilibrium. I don't want to block them from the cabinet though, even though decentralization would be good. So I just do this for the cost of a bit of their power. Another parliament. That one can increase stats of our prince. More importantly, we want to change more laws. And in the royal court custom, I can take the itinerant court. That looks unique. I have not seen that before. Proximity cost through land 10%. That sounds super dope. What does a rural parliament do? Decentralization also is not helpful, but you see the country's anyway towards decentralization, but I'm already pushing it towards centralization. Let's actually test that. Of course, that's gonna be not an instant impact, it needs to be updated, but I'm curious how it's gonna spread our control. See, we're doing pretty nicely already. Can separate piece Austria? Not much because of the religion difference, to not create too much of a collision, but I can also take... Really don't have money? How about... Wait. Because this against Biberach, not Austria. Yeah, that's not fun then. But we could humiliate them, which gives us some prestige. And we could dismantle the forts in Austria. That looks better. I would just make sure to release subjects in these locations to not core it myself. By the way, did you know that standing army in a location is increasing control over there? So for example, in that gold location, you see that the maximum control is increased by 1.5% by that little army that I'm having. And that's why I've put it on the gold location, just to get a bit more gains from it. We are about to have in some time the Catholic rebels. That would be a nasty civil war. That's why I have to switch one of these conversions for Y into rebel crackdown. It looks like I'll be barely decreasing it, but with higher stability over time, that's gonna be better. And also I'm steadily converting more and more locations. Third bonus I'll take from reduced aspect is proximity cost for sure. So we even better spread our control. Let's see, this is 82 maximum control, and after the month tick we're gonna get this updated to 84. See, this from 24 is going towards 28, and so yeah, this is getting better and better. Definitely at the end of the episode I want to show a comparison before and after of some of the stuff. And actually that's surprising, but because for an unexperienced player it's actually going to play without Iron Man, but yeah, that player was an Iron Man. Here goes another war from Pope. I guess they're gonna be earning money on us. But actually I have an idea. So what if you recruit all levies immediately before they call allies? Because the difference in the size of the armies on both sides is what impacts their war enthusiasm. So potentially they should ask for less money, 3,000 this time. Can we reduce it? Can we reduce it down to 2,400? I think this is totally worth it instead of fighting all of these guys again. Especially, you know, with our balance being 250, 300. Quickly deal with it. Especially that in the meantime I'm heading towards 1,000 of tax base. Now that they have all three reduced aspects taken, I can, for example, dissolve monasteries to get a bit of money. And here it goes. We've just hit 1,000 tax base. I think we've started with like what, 600, right? That's a good improvement. I completely forgot that Hasset has also a situation. Told you first time dealing with Hasset, and there's plenty of options you have. Could force some conversion for the cost of a bit of religious power. I'm gonna do that maybe later. I could get money from the states. So if they're very loyal, that's free money. There's some defensive bonus. This is improving relations. And just some national modifiers. I think I'm gonna go for the conversions, especially this guy's converted a lot. So how about we go and convert now these locations up here. And we follow this up with forced conversions over here. Since I dissolved more monasteries, I can also, you know, get more cities. For now I have only one city. But locations around Praha, there definitely be some that would like to become a city for even better spread of control. You know, besides city giving you a bit more of control, see, it gives 10% instead of 5%. It also gives you a lot of more population capacity, it gives you constructions capacity, construction speed, a lot of more possible non-peasants, and also my local promotion speed is very useful, so you can get faster, you know, hands to actually work in your buildings. Pope declared again, say it again, let me recruit all the levies. I think even this time we could probably fight. Because look, that didn't call that many nations. We've got Austria helping us. They might be helping more though. The question is, do I even want to waste my time on this? If I could just pay them 1.9 thousand. Yeah, there's absolutely no need to waste any time and people on that. We also finally have more Hussites in the country, even Catholics. Slightly more, but still counts. And our queen just refuses to die. She's 79 years old. That's pretty much the perfect moment to end soon because the new age happens, but I'll still choose a focus for the player. And let's just quickly take a look. The pop conversion speed is gonna be of use for sure. And the mining costs, yeah, doesn't matter. Here is colonization, we know that. Yeah, we'll go for the admin bonus for sure. And we proclaimed also immediately some hegemonies. We are now economic hegemon, by far. And we are military hegemon, by a bit. How far away we... yeah, not far away from being a cultural hegemon, especially that we keep... getting more libraries. Finally, the queen died. We could change our capital, but we're not gonna change it at all cost. Yeah, the Bohemian Union is no longer there. But what should fix now, most importantly, is people from the crown. Yeah, we should finally have some male characters that are not married, and we can look. Okay, so now our crown power is rather low, it's 29, but if we do this, if we do this, if we do this, even if this is a bit more less efficient, with all of this, it goes from 29 over the month tick to 33. Yeah, I think anyway I'll be ending here. The country looks good, 1.1 thousand base tax, really strong income 540, fixed legitimacy, almost fixed stability, plenty of money to do whatever you want, army to be increased, 2 hegemonies, third and incoming. And associated values, I start going towards innovative. This is hard. We are more towards spiritualists, more towards belligerent. I think even more towards lands, but there wasn't enough time to rechange this much. But definitely the things that changed the most is amount of the control that we have in the country, which is of course coming from improved proximity that with this. That is also all coming, especially control from, look how many now towns we have, and more importantly cities. I will, as an outro, show you now on the right hand side, like comparisons before and after for various aspects of the game. And for today, guys, thanks for watching. I hope that you enjoy ruined campaigns. If you have any ruined campaign, but please not 10 years in campaigns, please join my Discord and share them with me in DMs with some description. Thanks for watching, make sure to subscribe to get notified about the next episode, and I'm gonna see you soon.